This episode of Logan Chops Reviews is sponsored in part by Ion Games. It's in our nature. The Giveaway Geek. The Getting Geeky with Game Relief podcast. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Logan Chops Reviews. This one we're covering Clear the Decks. Clear the Decks is a ship-to-ship warfare game set in the Age of Sail. In it, you'll be facing off against an enemy ship and trying to take it down and punching holes inside by firing cannons. So we got the rule book here. We don't have a box for the game. I know usually we have the box and then we take it off to reveal stuff from the inside. But we got the rule book. We don't have a box for the game, but we got all the pieces. Remember that everything you see is a prototype done for the preview and will not be indicative of the final pieces from Kickstarter. It's actually on Kickstarter now, so the link will be in the description, so you can go check it out. But let's go ahead and dive right into some of these cards. So first off, we have the turn action cards that everybody's seen. It's got the little actions in order that you'll take, and we'll go through some of those later and in the game, as you'll see when me and Gothy play a couple turns. It's for 2 to 4 players, or you can play one player playing against the ship, but it makes it a little bit harder. But it's kind of scales really well. We'll go through how that happens, given this little chart here in a minute. But in it, you've got a bunch of tokens that'll be used to represent stuff. You'll have 3 different cannons you'll use, the 18-pounder, 24-pounder, and 36-pounder, as you can see them there. And they have different sides, as you can see. You've got a ready side, and you've got a reloading side, and you'll flip them over whenever you're after you're done firing. You'll flip them over to show that they are being reloading, because if you shoot on your turn, then you won't be able to use it on the next turn. So you turn your card over, and you'll have your token. You'll be able to turn your token over to remind you that it cannot be used that turn, even though on your turn when you turn it over, it's readied, like that. You've got some tokens showing that enemy cannons are not able to be fired. They have little X's on the cannon, so if your enemy cannon can't be fired that's on the ship, you'll go ahead and place that on the card. And on the other side of these tokens, because they're double-sided, you've got bandaged hands, which are used to show that either enemy crew members or your Marines or officers that you have can't be used that turn, or different tactics and stuff. So let's go ahead and get to some more of the cards we have over here. Okay, so for the player's deck, there's 4 basic cards that you'll come in contact with. We're going to go through those, as well as the turn order action. So at the beginning of your turn, you can select and play one officer or Marine Corps card, or you can play one of both. You can also pass a card to another player, or roll one of your cannons that you have to another player if all their cannons are disabled. You want to make sure that they can shoot off their cannon, but you cannot roll your last cannon. Let's say if 2 of your cannons are disabled, you've only got 1 that's still able to shoot. You can't roll your last cannon over there. So the officer cards, there's 2 different kinds. There's an officer and a Marine card. They're part of your crew, and they've got different abilities that come into play that let you do different stuff. Like you can see the captain there, so you can copy a basic trait in any player's hand, or you can avoid any one event when it appears, which is why it has that little hourglass figure right next to it. Or it says if captain lost to a counterattack, all players lose 1 card. That little cutlass symbol down there is the counterattack symbol that the enemies will play. So if that happens, that will trigger right there. And then you've got Marines, which like this one right here, which is a Marine Sergeant. It's got the little cannonball symbol right there, so that means it happens during your attack phase. So remove 1 crew card. So if there's a crew card on top of the ship's deck, then you'll get to remove it. So, or you can use Grape Shot to remove 1 Borders token. And Borders are guys that come onto your ship and will do damage to your ship. You can't have more than 2 Borders on each of your cannons, or else your cannon is disabled. So you can use them to do that, to remove Borders token. So you take to make your player's deck, you take all your officers and Marine cards right here. We're going to start our deck right there, place them down that way. Now there's tactics cards that you can use on your cannons to do different stuff. There's basic and advanced tactics. You see like this one, Carpenter's Mate. You can remove 1 damage token from one of your cannons. Comes in handy. Basic tactic, you just play it. You can play 1 tactic per each of your 3 cannons, and then it triggers its effect during the during the attack phase, basically. And then, like this one is Advanced Token. It's a Raking Shot. You must have an officer in your hand to be able to play an advanced tactic, though. So, you know, you can't use it unless that qualifies and happens. And then during your attack phase, you use 2 ammunition cards with 1 cannon to destroy 2 adjacent cards. So it'll hit both of them instead. So for your players, you take all your tactics cards you got. Go ahead and add them to our player deck right there. You also have different fortunes that can come up. And fortune cards are just like lucky cards. They come up, they've got the little lightning bolt symbol right there. So whenever you draw them, you play them immediately. And they have an effect like this one right here. Lucky Albatross. It says all players draw 1 card. Hands may exceed 8 cards. Because 8 is the maximum amount of cards that everybody can have in their hand. So we'll add all these fortunes to our player's deck. And then in the deck, you have 3 different kinds of ammunition, and that's what most of the deck is going to be taken up of. There's a bunch of different ammunitions, and there's doubles of the ammunitions. And 3 different kinds you've got Grape Shot, you've got Chain Shot, and you've got Round Shot. And they all do damage to the opponent's deck, or to the enemy ship's deck that are on there, and we'll show you how that works during the gameplay video. But whenever you use the ammunition, let's say you want to shoot off your 18-pound, let me grab this over here. So your 18-pounder cannon right there, you want to use Grape Shot. So you're like, okay, I'm targeting with my 18-pounder. I'm targeting the enemy's deck over here. I'm going to use the Grape Shot like that. You'll go ahead and discard the Grape Shot to the discard deck, flip your card over, and then the enemy card right there will come off the deck, and any consequences that happen will happen. So there's 3 different kinds of ammunition in there. Grape Shot, Chain Shot, and Round Shot. They basically do all the damage, and that's why this stack is like this. It is huge, full of ammunition. It's even bigger than all the rest of the cards that you have in there. So you add all these cards together, and this makes up the player's deck. This is not part of the player's deck. That's a cannon. And you go ahead and shuffle this at the beginning of the game and set it off to the side. Deal everybody a hand of 6 cards at the beginning of the game. And then let's go ahead and get to the actually bulk of the game, where you're going to be playing it. Let's go ahead and get to the ship. Okay, and this is where the bulk of the game takes place, is on the ships. Now, you can make different types of ships, and depending on how you place these cards out, they will you'll have different amount of stacks, between 2 to 4 stacks, and that's what shows right here at the top of your little chart right here, where it says cutter, catch, slope. It's different kinds. You can see there's a number underneath of them, and that's how many different stacks there'll be. So depending on how you set your ships up will depend on how many stacks you have, between 2 and 4. You can see like this one is just a basic single ship, and it has 2 stacks that you'll have on it. Now, these are double-sided, so you could have this one here, but then you got to finish off the ship. So you find the other one that corresponds with it. Let's say, so you can tell by the color of the sea and the sides of the ship. You see this one, even though I could put it at the end here, but then that would give me 5 stacks. Also, the blue does not match up with the sea there. You have to use this side right here. So this is a 4-part ship. Let's see, this one had the 2 on there. If I take this out, flip these over, I have the 3-part ship right there, and you could use them like that. So they're interchangeable depending on which size ship you want to do. And then, so for our game, we're going to be doing a 2-set ship. So let's go ahead and set these off to the side over there. So now for these, you decide what kind of ship you want. And then you see, okay, how many stacks, because there's 2 different kinds of ships that have 2 stacks. And depending on which one you'll play, the little chart here will tell you how many of each card to put into your stacks on your ship. We can go ahead, let's just do the cutter, because that's what we're going to set up for Gothy and I's game. You can see it has a light, medium, and heavy option right there. And these signify what kind of cannons are going to be on this ship that they're going to use against us. Since we're doing a cutter, it only has a light one right there. And you can see it has 15 cards. So we're going to go ahead and grab our cannon cards right here, which have light, heavy, and medium. And there's 15 of each one of these cards. And they're laid out like this, where you have a little chart up at the top of the card right there that tell us that whenever you target that with your cannon, what kind of ammunition you're going to need to destroy this card, this gun, this cannon that they have on the enemy ship. You can see right there, it's got for the 18-pounder gun. If we're using it, we're going to need round shot. For the 24-pounder gun, we're going to need round shot. If we're using our 36-pounder gun, we're going to need either chain shot or round shot there. Plus, it's also got a little cutlass symbol. So after you attack during the game, first we're gonna let me see one of the other ones. Let me show you this first. So after you attack and shoot with your gun, oh, they don't have any on any of these cards. Let's see. Let's grab one of these structure cards. After you attack with your gun, there's consequences. So after you destroy a card, if it has this little burst symbol right there, that means it's a consequence that's going to happen to you. You can see like on this bulwark right here, you remove the next card if it's a crew. So even though you take this card off the stack because you destroyed it, you check the next card. Is it a crew card? No? Okay, it goes back. If it is a crew card, it's destroyed also and goes to the crew discard deck. But after that, any cards that are left, because all the rest of the cards are going to be like face down. We got like, I'll just put like face down stacks like that. If there's any card, let's say like this light cannon was still up, any cards left on stacks that have these cutlasses right here, this is counterattacks by the ship to you. You see like this one says, place a damage token. And when damage tokens are placed, or borders, which are people that come onto your ship to attack, they happen in certain order. And it'll show it on the back of your turn structure card. It's right there. You see cannons, they attack ready cannons first, and they go in order by 36, 24, and then 18. And then if all of those are actually reloading, they'll actually go in the reversed order. They'll go 36, 24, and 18. Now, if boarders actually board your ship, they'll go in this order, going for your reloading ones first to your ready ones. So it's on the back of your turn structure card or turn order card. You'll be able to keep track of those. So back to the cannons, how we're doing this. Put those back over there. We're only going to need the light cannons for this game. Let's see. So let's take the 15 light cannons right there. And then the little chart shows this is for 1 player, 2 player, 3 player, 4 player. So we go ahead and look when we start building our decks. We are, for 2 players, for me and Gothy, we are going to need 7 cannons that are going to go into our active decks that are going to be here. And then there's going to be an enemy ship deck off to the side that will be for stuff that gets drawn later. So we'll take those. They're all the same, so we don't have to worry about shuffling them up. And we go ahead. We're going to put 7 in one stack for active, and then the rest of them are going to go in a different stack, which is 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's our active deck. And then this deck over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be our enemy ship deck. So the active one over here. But before we can build these on here, we actually need to get the hull cards. Where are my hull cards? Since I only have 2 spots on the ship, I've got the bow, which is in the front, and the stern, which is in the back. Now, if I had a bigger ship, I'd need the waist cards, but for this one, I don't. So I'm going to take my bow and my bow leak card and my stern and stern leak card for the game, which are the final ones you'll beat whenever you get to the bottom of the decks. You'll see that they have different stuff going on for the leaks and stuff, because whenever you get to the bottom of these decks and these become available, then you get through them, you win the game. So the leak card goes on the bottom. Oh, let's make sure we get these set up first. So the stern leak card goes there. The stern hull one is there. And then we've got the bow leak card from the front and the hull card right there to start off our stacks. And remember, this one is our active one because this one will go in the ships, and this is just the regular enemy ship draw deck. So now the next thing we check for, we have to do the structure cards. Structure cards are placed just like the bow ones. They've got the little chart up there. And you see this is the bulwark that I grabbed before, and they've got different abilities that happen during the game. So we take the whole stack of cards. I think if I counted these before, these are about 15 cards right here. And we look on our chart for 2 players. We are going to have 4 structure cards in our active deck, and all the rest of them will go to the enemy ship deck. So go ahead and give those a quick shuffle, 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 and we'll deal 1, 2, 3, 4 to that deck. All the rest of them go over here to this deck. Now we go ahead and grab the event deck, because there's different events that could happen during the game. If you turn over an event, it'll happen. It usually has a lightning symbol right there, a lightning bolt that shows that you have to do it right away as soon as you flip it over. So if it's in these decks and you flip it over, it happens right away. Like you see this one says replace with a card from the ship deck. So as soon as you do it, you'll replace it with one of the cards from the ship deck or an event. And then it also says that during an attack phase, the next player cannot communicate with other players until after the enemy's counterattack. So you can't coordinate your attacks or anything. You know, if you have to pass cards, you can't request a card or tell your fellow players what you have or what you need until after the next enemy's counterattack phase. So you got a couple of these event cards. We'll go ahead and check our list. Let's say for event cards, we need two event cards in our active deck. So we'll go ahead and give these a quick shuffle. Deal out 2, and all the rest of them go to the enemy ship deck there. And then we've got one more stack of cards that we put in our decks right there. This will actually only go to our active deck. The rest of them will not go to our enemy ship deck right here. And these are crew cards. They're set up exactly the same way as the other one. It shows what kind of ammunition you need to beat them and the different effects that they have, like this one, Gunner's Mate. So if you defeat it, the nearest enemy cannon does not counterattack. So that's good. So if you have this on this stack here and you had a cannon on this stack here and you go ahead and blow up this crew member, he comes off and that effect takes place. The nearest enemy cannon, let's say the cannon that was over here, does not counterattack. So on your turn, if it's a little cutlass symbol that says to damage your cannon, it will not take effect. You know, and they're set up with the cutlasses too, so if it's still on top of the stack, its ability takes place. So let's see, how many crew members do we need for this deck? Oh, we need 3. 3 crew members. So we'll go ahead and shuffle this deck. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Pull out 3 into the active deck. 1, 2, 3. And then the rest of these don't go in this stack. The rest of these are set off to the side, because different things will have you add crew members to the deck, or we'll summon them, or what have you. So now that we've got this set up, we take our active deck. We'll go ahead and shuffle it up a little bit. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. And we divide them evenly between the amount of stacks here by dishing them out like this. So and then the last cards actually go on top face up like that for our first encounters. The enemy ship draw deck over here gets shuffled up and placed to the side, because we will likely have to draw stuff from it during the turn. And then the last stack of cards we have are borders. Different stuff will add borders to the stacks or to the decks. You see borders are red bordered like that, and they're set up just like this. So if they're on top of the stack, you know how to defeat them. But if they're on top of one of these stacks, you can see it says place a border token, and they will be placed onto your stuff on your turn according to the chart on the back of your turn order. So this stack is actually just placed, because all these cards are exactly the same. Borders or cards are exactly the same. They just be placed face up next to these stacks. The other thing that we have for the game is a bunch of damage tokens. So these, they have like broken sides like these. These are placed on your cannons if your cannons take damage. This is the damage token right here. On the other side are the border tokens that we just talked about. They are the gun and the sword crossed over right there. So if anything has a border token on it, you know, on your cannon, let me grab a cannon right here. Oh, border token. Yeah, it's placed there. Or that's damage token. Border token if there's a border on there. Your cannons cannot have more than 3 token, or sorry, more than 2. If they ever get a third one, they're disabled. They're out of the game, and there's no way to get them back. So let's go ahead and get this all on the table, show you how to play. Okay, so we got everything set up for a 2-player game of Clear the Decks. We've got all our decks set up and everything. I explained it during the little setup part about how we were setting up the decks in different description. We got our cannons already, and our player cards, tokens, all that good stuff. So to start out at the beginning of your turn, like it says on the turn order or turn actions order card, you can select an officer or a marine, one or the other, or both, and play them and or receive a card from another player. Just got to check with Gothy what kind of... You got all different kinds of ammunition. You're good?
I'm good.
You good for ammunition? Okay. So don't have to worry about passing cards to her. And since we've got this fresh game, we don't have to worry about rolling a cannon to one another since none of them are damaged. So let's go ahead and activate cannons. So we get to the main meat of the game. I'm looking at the cannons. We have 2 light cannons on top of the stacks here. Got one here and one here. And it shows me that for a light cannon, my 18-pounder gun, I'd have to use round shot. 24-pound gun, I'd have to use round shot. And my 16-pounder, I'd have to either use chain shot or round shot. So I've got... They're both exactly the same. Let's see what I want to do. Let's see. I think I'm gonna use my... Yeah, I'm going to target with my 18-pounder. I'll target the first one. And then with my 36-pounder, I'll target the other one there. So once you're done targeting which one you want to shoot, you go ahead and play your ammunition on them. Let's go ahead and play a round shot for the 18-pounder right there. And then I'll play a chain shot for the 36-pounder. Yeah, that looks like it's good. So once you do those, you go ahead. Okay, round shot's going to hit that one. Chain shot's going to hit that one. So they're both going to hit. You flip your cannons over to the reloading side, and you put your tokens down below them to show that they've already been used. They're not available anymore. And these cards come off the tops of the stacks. Show they've been done. Now, if there was any, these cards, the regular light cannons, see, they just have the cutlasses on there. They don't have the little exploding symbols on there, so there's going to be no counterattacks towards us. There are no consequences from these cannons. And since there's no cutlasses left on the card stacks, we are not going to get any counterattacks from the ships. So basically, these go into the enemy ship's discard pile. In the rulebook, it's just called the ship deck or ship discard, but on some of the cards are called enemy ship discard or enemy ship deck, which is the same thing. It's just the one with all the cards in it. So now we'll go ahead and turn over the faces and see if there's any consequences or any immediate actions. Oh, it's a ship event. This one's Deafening Blast. It has a little lightning bolt, which means we have to do it right away. It says replace with card from the ship deck. Okay, and so, next player cannot communicate with other enemies until after the enemy counterattack. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and replace this with the card from the ship deck. So we'll see what that is. That's a bulwark. We'll go ahead and explain that in a minute. This one flips over, and this is another bulwark. So it's exactly the same thing. So these cards are structure cards for the ship. Let's say 18-pounders will have to do either chain or round shot. 24-pounders have to do chain or round shot. 36-pounders will have to do chain shot. And they got some consequences, which we'll go over whenever they're destroyed and stuff. So, end of my turn, I go ahead and draw 2 cards from the player deck. 1, 2. I check and make sure they don't have any lightning bolts for immediate effects, which they don't. And play will pass to Gothy, which, according to this Deafening Blast, I cannot communicate until after the enemy's counterattack. So Gothy wants to take her turn all by herself. All by herself.
Okay. I'm going to use my 18-pounder and my 24-pounder. So we'll just do chain and round shot for these two. So this one hits. Oh, we'll take these off. And then this one. So these both flip over. So the consequence is remove the next card if it's a crew. So let's see. This one is not a crew. And this one is also not a crew. So that doesn't do anything, and the cutlasses don't do anything since they're both gone.
Yep. So yeah, there's no counterattacks. It's none of the no cutlasses remain on the top of the stacks right there. Okay. So now go ahead and turn over the top card. See if there's any immediate effects that happen in your lightning bolts.
Ship structure, mizzen mast.
It's a mizzen mast. Okay, no immediate things that happen.
And then a light cannon.
And then so another gun.
That's all up, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'll draw my 2 cards.
Yep. Check and make sure you don't have 8 cards in hand. 8 cards is the max.
And I just do that.
Oh, she drew an allied brig. So it's got an immediate action. It's a fortune card. The allied brig makes 1 24-pounder round shot attack against the enemy ship. Players choose the targeted card. So let's see. Do any of these have a round shot? Yeah, both their 24 pound attacks take round shot. Okay, so it's going to make a round shot attack right away. One of our allied brigs. So a friend of ours in a neighboring ship comes by and just makes a shot at the ship. Which one do you think would do it right now?
Maybe the mast?
Yeah, let's take out the mizzen mast. Okay, and so since this isn't a player's turn, it just happens in between. It just happens as far as I know with fortune cards. Fortune cards just automatically happen, so there's no like consequences or anything.
So I just draw 2 more, or
yeah, make sure you still get your 2 cards. What was that? 1 card?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so back to my turn. At the beginning of my turn, I go ahead and I'm gonna before I flip my stuff over, I get the check and see if I got any Marines or officers or anything I want. I want to play. Let's see. No, I'm gonna save that. No, there's nothing really that I see. So I flip my ships over, or my cannons over to ready, but they're still not available to use on this turn since they shot last turn. So to remember that, I turn over my tokens to their other side, which have red X's, and put them on top of them, showing that I cannot use those right now. Let's go ahead and see what I can do. Let's see, we got a light cannon on top of that one, and a gunner's mate on top of this one, which the gunner's mate, the 18-pound attack would be chain or grape shot. 24-pound attack would be chain or round shot. And 36 would be grape shot. Which I've only got my 24-pound gun available, so I have to use either chain or round shot to take it out. So I think the light cannon, 24-pound attack, I'd have to use round shot. But this one has some consequences on it. Let's see. Or I could, if I take this one out, I'll have to take a damage token over there. Which I think would be, I could take a damage token. That'd be fine. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and use, let's see. Let's go ahead and use a round shot. I'm going to target with my 24-pounder. I'm going to target that gunner's mate right there. And go ahead and use my round shot on it. So we'll go ahead and discard that to show that it's gone. Fire my 24-pounder right there, and I'll go ahead and take out this gunner's mate. I'll go ahead and check for the targeted ship's consequences. It says, nearest enemy cannon does not counterattack. Oh, so the enemy cannon right there, which is light cannon, is not going to counterattack. So that cutlass will not place a damage token on any of my cards. Awesome.
Well, that worked out.
Yeah, that worked out pretty good. So let's go ahead and we discard that to the crew deck. Discard over there. And turn over, flip over the next card. See, oh, it's another light cannon. Awesome. And then I end my turn by go ahead and drawing 2 cards. 1, 2, no immediate effects? No. And go ahead and play Gothy.
Okay. So my guys get ready. They can't do anything yet. But I'm going to use my 36-pounder to hit one of these cannons with round shot.
Round shot. So, yeah. All right. Your round shot hits it. Go ahead and turn your cannon over to show that it's shot.
Whoa. Took out
Okay, this is the one you took out. There's no consequences from the thing. But since we have a card left on top with a cutlass, you get to place a damage token. So you take one of the damage tokens here, and if you check on the back of your turn structure card, it shows that when cannons, they first go after readied cannons, and they'll go after her 36 pounder first. Your 36 pounder is readied since you did turn it over. Oh, sorry, 18. Sorry, 36 pounder is readied. Wait, is that the one you just shot with?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not ready. So it's going to go after your 24 pounder, even though you can't.
That's what I thought, but I was listening to you.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to listen to me. Okay. So
this goes away.
Yep, that will go into the discard pile.
And the new one comes out, which is another light cannon.
Another light cannon. We got some cannon action
and then
going on.
I get to draw my 2 cards. And then it's your turn.
Okay. Just checking to see what I've got here. Alright. So, beginning my turn, these... Let's say I don't have any Marines or anything. Well, I do have a Marine, but I don't want to use him right now. I'm saving him for something else. And I've got some tactics going on here that I want to use during the attack phase. Yeah. So let's go ahead. So these, the tokens, flip over to the ready side. This token, even though the term's there, it will be not, my 24 pounder will not be available for use. So let's go ahead. Let's see. I need round shots for 18 and for 36. Yeah, either chain or round. So that works. Let's see what I've got here. Yeah, I've got the cards to take them out. Well, let's see. I'm gonna use a. We've been going a lot through this deck right here. We haven't taken out too many cards here. A lot of cards from there. So I'm gonna use double charge. It's a basic tactic. You can play one tactic card on. I think it's per turn, if I remember correctly. Well, yeah, or no, 1 per cannon. So I'm going to use this tactic card, double charge right here. It removes an extra card below the targeted card on the enemy ship. So we're going to use that on my 18 pounder right there. And I'll have that 18 pounder target that cannon right there, while my 36 pounder targets the light cannon right there. And yeah, so since 18 pounder right there is going to use round shot, my 36 pounder is going to use chain shot just to get some extra cards out of my hand. Okay, so they both blow them up. The round shot will hit this one right here, blow it up, and also because of the double charge right there, I'm going to remove an extra card below the targeted card on the enemy ship. So to remove that extra card right there, we'll check what that is. Oh, it's a repair crew card. So it's going to remove that one. See, that goes to the discard there. My chain shot hits this one. Flip that over. And we'll move that one. And then there's no consequences on those cards, so I don't have to worry about that. And there's nothing, no cutlasses left on top of the decks, so no damage or borders or anything to me. So these will get discarded. And we'll turn these over to see if there's any enemies. Oh, no, 2 more light cannons. I'll draw 2 cards. And then, hold on. I drew Live Oak Hull. So right away, it's a fortune. Placed next to the enemy ship. And then the cutlasses, the next enemy cannon attack does no damage to its target. Awesome. So this will actually go next to, we'll put this next to the ship to remind us about that. And then I still got to draw my second card. Awesome. Which is a chain shot for anybody following at home. And then play with Pass the Gothy. And that's basically how you play clear the decks. You keep going down till you get to the bottom of the decks to get to the hull cards, elite cards, like we showed you during the setup, which once you get through those to the bow leak and both stacks, you win the game. Or if the enemy takes out everybody's guns, you lose the game. And that's the basic premise. So let's go ahead and get to the review. So there you can see our gameplay of Clear the Decks by Chris Pinyan. It's a pretty wonderful naval battle game. If you like card games and you like Navy warfare, like at sea, battle games that are co-op, it's a really good game. Go ahead and check it out. It's on Kickstarter now. Yeah, we really enjoyed it. We don't usually like too many warfare games or battle games, stuff like that. War games really aren't our thing, but we had a really fun time because the mechanics of the game and with the cards and all the different actions don't make it feel like it's really too much of a war game. Just makes it feel like it's a regular card game. The decks are small enough that it doesn't drag the game out. It's good. It's a really good setup, really good card game. I liked it. Do you like it, Gothy?
Yeah, I like it.
All right. So there you have it. We both liked it. You both get 2 thumbs up. One from me, one from Gothy. 2 out of 4 thumbs. No, 4 out of 4 thumbs. Yes, we have 4 thumbs, right? Yeah, she put 2 thumbs up. You can't see it. 4 thumbs up. I'm Logan for Logan Chops Reviews. Thank you for watching. Please check out our subscribers, or our sponsors. You're our subscribers. We love you all. Check out our sponsors. You'll see their icons at the end of the video and down in the description below. Go ahead and go over to our Facebook. Check that out. We're almost at 500 subscribers. When we do that, we'll be hitting the contest. We hit contests all the time. So make sure you check it out. And we'll see you next time. Happy gaming.